the fourth time Meng Xian and I did not receive our marriage certificate. I finally realized it and started thinking, does he not want to get the certificate from me at all? 1. Standing at the gate of the Civil Affairs Bureau, looking at the endless traffic on the road, I was in a daze for a few minutes. When I came back to my senses, I breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed like the sharp sword hanging over my head had finally fallen, and there was no need to worry anymore. Sure enough, Meng Xian didn't come again. This is the fourth time we have failed to obtain the certificate. After experiencing his first 3 broken appointments, I felt a little uncertain. Subconsciously, I have a hunch that this time it won't go well either. Sure enough, I waited at the Civil Affairs Bureau for half an hour, but Meng Xian didn't show up, and his call came. Xiaofan, I fell down the stairs. His voice contained the pain. What's going on? I subconsciously worried about him. Because I was in a hurry to get the certificate, I ran too fast down the stairs and fell. He explained through gritted teeth. Does it hurt? Does it matter? The minor fracture has been bandaged and fixed now. Meng Xian hesitated. Well, Xiao Hui. The doctor said that I can't move now, and I have to stay in the hospital for a day, and I can't leave until my condition is stable. We dash. It doesn't matter. I interrupted him first. You can recover from your injuries first, and you can get the certificate anytime. I'm sorry to disappoint you again, he said in a lonely tone. It's an accident, no one wants it. I comforted him. I'll see you in the hospital later. No! He stopped hastily. I'm with my cousin, and he's taking care of me. He said that if there's no problem, I can go home in the afternoon. It's already difficult for you to ask for leave, so go back and cancel it. Well, okay. After hanging up the phone, I walked out alone. After failing to obtain the certificate for the 4th time, it is difficult not to think wildly. Could it be that Meng Xian and I are not destined to get married? Or are we always close to each other? However, if it only happens once or twice, I can simply understand it as an accident. This is the 4th time. No matter how slow I am, I can't help but start thinking deeply. Maybe it wasn't an accident at all before. Maybe Meng Xian just doesn't want to marry me? 2. Meng Xian and I started falling in love early in high school. We were together for 4 years in college and 3 years after graduation. Our relationship has been going smoothly. From the intense love period to the dull and warm relationship now, our relationship has become more and more inseparable. In my sophomore year, after my parents passed away unexpectedly, I spent every holiday at Meng Xian's house. His parents already regarded me as their daughter-in-law and urged us to get married. In my mind, Meng Xian is not only my lover, but also my closest family member. He has already been part of my future plans. On my 25th birthday, my wish was to get married. Meng Xian hugged me and promised in my ear with a gentle voice, okay, let's get married, Xiaofan, and I will give you a family. However, after his birthday, Meng Xian never mentioned the topic of marriage again. He made no move to propose, but I couldn't wait any longer. I took the initiative to bring up marriage and said that my biggest wish this year was to start a family. There is no shortage of wedding rooms. Meng Xian runs his own company, and his family is well off. His parents have already bought him a new house. After my parents passed away, they left me a considerable inheritance, including several properties. After we get married, we can keep the status quo unchanged, live in the city center on weekdays, go back to his parents' place on weekends, and live in a villa in the suburbs during holidays. As for the bride price, there is no need for it. I am the only one left in my family now. For me, Meng Xian is my family. We don't need to separate our money and property so clearly. We are all one family, right? Therefore, after graduation, Meng Xian did not want to join his father's company and was clamoring to start a business. When his parents objected, I would not hesitate to use my own money to help him. I think supporting his ideals and helping him realize his dreams is far more important than the money itself. I don't have strong material desires. I have a stable job, a car, a house, and some savings, so I am very happy. And the material foundation of our current life far exceeds my expectations. The financial difficulties that many ordinary families may face will not be a problem for us. Therefore, I think that marriage is a matter of course for us who've been in love for many years. After all, our lives in the past few years are no different from those of a married couple. I told Meng Xian that it doesn't matter if I don't have time to hold a wedding. Get the certificate first. I need the sense of ritual to make me feel at ease. Meng Xian agreed happily. We agreed on a date to receive the certificate. That day, Meng Xian missed the appointment. 3. During that time, Meng Xian stayed up late and worked overtime every day because of a company project and lived in the company dormitory at night. On the day we agreed, I took half a day off and told him to meet him at the door of the Civil Affairs Bureau at 8 o'clock. But that morning, I waited until 9:30 when he called. Xiao Hui, I'm sorry. The project was originally finished, but there was a problem with one of the data. I have to solve it now. His tone was anxious. I had to go to work in the afternoon, so I figured he wouldn't be able to make it, so I expressed my understanding in a good-natured way. It's okay. You go about your business first. I'm going back to work. I'll make an appointment next time. After returning home that day, Meng Xian sincerely apologized to me again. I thought that he didn't want to have problems with the project, so I couldn't blame him, so I forgave him. Then my work became busy again, and my boss refused to approve leave. It wasn't until more than a month later that I finally got another day off. That time, it was Meng Xian who took the initiative to get the certificate. He called me while on a business trip and told me that when he got off the plane at 8:30 the next morning, the driver would take him directly to the Civil Affairs Bureau. I was so happy that I reluctantly asked my boss for a half-day leave. While I was waiting happily at the Civil Affairs Bureau, I received his call, and I suddenly had a bad feeling in my heart. Sure enough, something happened again. His car collided with someone else on the way. Although the driver drove the car was in his name. The other person involved in the accident is still struggling, and he needs to go to the traffic police brigade to solve the problem. I didn't get my passport that time. On the day of the third appointment to receive the certificate, Meng Xian's mother had a stomachache, and he sent her to the hospital. When I finally arrived, it was already 5:30 in the afternoon, and the Civil Affairs Bureau had just finished get-off work. Seeing his painful and self-reproaching look, I explained to him with a bitter smile, good things come only in time. Today is the 4th time. I can't stop thinking about it. Once some ideas sprout, they can't help but grow wildly. Details that had been ignored began to emerge one by one. 4. The first time he said there was a problem with the project, it was all his own words, and there was nothing that could be verified. Because I trusted him 100% and had no doubts about what he said at that time. The second time, a traffic accident. I asked about it that night, and he downplayed it and said that it would be handled by the insurance company and that it had been resolved. The third time, his mother had a recurrence of stomach trouble. I remembered that after get-off work that day, I went to his house to see my aunt. The aunt seemed to be fine. She said a few words to me and then went to the room to rest. A few days later, on the weekend, my aunt took the initiative to invite me to go shopping. That day, she ignored my refusal and insisted on giving me a brand-name bag. Now think about it. Could it be compensation for a guilty conscience? The always kind aunt has a bad conscience because she helped her son deceive me. And today? If you think carefully about what Meng Xian said on the phone, there are many things worth exploring. Could it be that he chose the excuse of fracture because his cousin happened to be an orthopedic surgeon? I took a taxi on the side of the road and rushed to the city hospital. Coincidentally, standing at the door of Meng Xian's cousin's office, I heard their conversation through the crack of the door. I told you this lie, and I won't be able to look directly at my siblings in the future. This is my cousin's voice. It's just a small matter. Don't put such a big psychological burden on it. Meng Xian didn't care. Tell me about you. In order not to get married, you have already broken your appointments 4 times. You are relying on your siblings to trust you. Others would have doubted you. Can't I think of a better way? Actually, I don't understand you. It's not that you and Jiang Hui don't love each other and your parents accept her. There is no third party and there are no financial difficulties, so why can't we get married? Why did you give up as soon as you got the certificate? Meng Xian sighed irritably. I also want to know the reason. Why can't I take that step? When we first fell in love, I thought that we would get married in the future. But when it comes to this day, I don't dare anymore. I always feel that marriage is a very careful thing. It is a commitment, a responsibility, and a shackle. When I think about being bound by this prison in the future, I feel breathless. A cousin. That's too exaggerated. The life you and Jiang Hui live now is no different from the life you lived after marriage. The difference is just a certificate. That's not a certificate. It's a seal that restricts my freedom. Even if you get married, Jiang Hui will not restrict your freedom. Anyway, I'm not mentally prepared yet. If you are really not ready, you can have a good talk with Jiang Hui. I believe she will understand you. It's not a big deal if you miss appointments again and again. But I couldn't open my mouth to tell her. I knew how much she wanted to get married. Ever since her parents passed away, her desire for home has been particularly persistent. I didn't want to see the disappointed look in her eyes and couldn't bear to hurt her. Then she won't be disappointed or hurt if you keep breaking appointments again and again. You are deceiving yourself. If you really don't plan to get married, just break up. Don't drag away her youth. Break up? How is it possible? I won't break up. Meng Xian raised his voice and said firmly, I love Jiang Hui, and I will be with her forever. You just don't want to get married, right? My cousin sneered. Why didn't I realize you had the potential to be a scumbag before? I stood outside the door with tears streaming down my face. 5. This afternoon, I did not return to the company. Anyway, I've already asked for leave, and I can't calm down and do anything even after I leave. I wandered along the roadside and walked into a park next to the hospital. When I sat down on the bench, a voice came from beside me. Little girl, are you unhappy? I turned my head and saw a strange aunt wearing a hospital gown with a sick face. Auntie, why are you here alone? Where are your family members? I just think that when you are sick, your family should be with you. I have no family, Auntie said bluntly. Huh? I'm sorry. I thought that my aunt's relatives were no longer alive, so I mentioned that she was sad. But the aunt smiled generously. I have never been married in my life, and I have no children. I usually live in a nursing home, but recently my old problem recurred, so I came to the hospital for surgery. The nursing home originally arranged for someone to stay with me on the bed, but I refused. It's not a big problem, and I can still take care of myself. Maybe the sympathy in my eyes was too obvious, and my aunt was a little unhappy. What? Do you think I'm pitiful? I'm all alone and have no one to rely on. I shook my head quickly. No, Annie, that's not what I meant. I can tell, that's what you mean, but I can tell you, it is my choice to be single all my life, and I have never regretted it. My life is much more exciting than many people who get married and start a family. My life is worth it. Under my curious eyes, my aunt proudly talked about her past. She is a university archaeology professor who devoted all her energy to her career when she was young. After retiring, she began to travel around and visit the great rivers and mountains of the motherland. I have no regrets in this life. Finally, the aunt concluded. But don't you feel regretful if you don't have a home? I asked from my heart. Don't have a home? Auntie retorted loudly. I have a home. Where I am is home. My heart seemed to be hit hard by an inexplicable force, and I didn't come back to my senses for a long time. Home is where I am. This sentence echoed in my mind over and over again. The inertial cognition was broken, as if I had a sudden epiphany, and I couldn't calm down the shock in my heart. Auntie seemed to see through me. She stood up and smiled slightly. Little girl, if you build your home on others, you will never get the sense of security you crave. As she left, she touched my head lovingly. You give yourself a home. On the way home from the park, I kept thinking, I think I understand what Auntie means. 6. To be fair, Meng Xian is very good to me. Apart from not wanting to get married, there is nothing wrong with me in other aspects. It took me 2 hours to convince myself. It seems that just falling in love without getting married is fine. No, it's better. You can enjoy the beauty of intimate relationships without having to bear too many responsibilities that only come with marriage. We can always be in love and keep it fresh. If one day we get tired of each other, we can simply turn around and leave without having to deal with legal hassles. The more I think about it, the more I think it would be better not to get married. As Meng Xian said, marriage is a prison. Why couldn't I figure it out before, and why I had to get into this cage? Meng Xian is still wise. I spent 2 hours thinking about it and made the decision I won't get married. After having dinner alone, Meng Xian went home. His cousin walked him in, turned around and left, not daring to meet my eyes the whole time. In fact, there is no need for him to feel guilty, and I don't blame him at all. Just like Meng Xian's mother, they didn't want to lie to me, but they couldn't rely on Meng Xian's prayers. Compared with me, Meng Xian is of course closer to them. It is understandable that they chose to help Meng Xian. Looking at the thick gauze bandaged on Meng Xian's feet, I didn't pierce it. Does it hurt? I asked with a distressed look on my face, matching his performance. It's nothing serious. Just raise it at home for 2 days, and it will be fine. I helped him sit down on the sofa and gave him a glass of hot water. After drinking the water, Meng Xian looked at me with that familiar guilty look again. I'm sorry, Xiaofan. It's all my unlucky constitution that accidents like this always happen. I held his hand and said calmly, it's not your fault. But this is the 4th time. I also want to say this. I have failed to obtain the certificate 4 times. I think this year may not be suitable for marriage. How about we talk about it next year? If we have time, let's go to the temple to burn incense and pray for a smooth marriage. I caught that moment of relief in his eyes. After a while, he pinched my nose. I can't tell. You're still a little superstitious. I'd rather believe it. 7. Without the pressure to get married, Meng Xian became visibly happy. I even hummed while brushing my teeth. Looking back on some time ago, he seemed to be forcing a smile every day. The contrast is quite obvious. It turns out that I was really embarrassing him about getting married. Fortunately, I figured it out. Forget it. Life is short. Enjoy yourself while you can. Why not find happiness? The New Year's Day holiday is coming soon, and my best friend called me and asked me if I wanted to go hiking together. I readily agreed. The night before my vacation, I was packing in my bedroom. Meng Xian pushed open the door and entered. I'll go back to my parents' place for lunch tomorrow, and let's go to my cousin's house for barbecue in the afternoon. She has just moved to a new house, and our brothers and sisters have made an appointment to warm her house. In the past festivals, I would go back to his parents' house with Meng Xian, then follow him to visit relatives or attend friends' gatherings. Now that I have scrapped my plans to get married, I don't want to be like I was before. From a legal point of view, I am just his girlfriend, so there's always something unfair about my name. In the past, it was because I thought that if we got married soon, we would always become a family. His family is my family, and his relatives are my relatives. I am involved in his life as his fiancée. Now, marriage may be far away, and I can no longer be as confident as before. I thought about minimizing my involvement in his interpersonal relationships in the future. I zipped up my backpack. Tomorrow, Yao Yao and I will go hiking in the next city. Mountain climbing? Meng Xian was surprised. When did you make the appointment? Why didn't I know? I just made the appointment yesterday, so I didn't have time to tell you. Just you two. And Xiaomin, the 3 of us are together. Yao Yao and Xiaomin were both my classmates in college. After graduation, we stayed in the same city and kept in touch and got together occasionally. Oh, since you have made an appointment, that's okay. 8. I had a lot of fun climbing this mountain. I cheered each other up with my sisters along the way and finally reached the top, overlooking the beautiful scenery, and felt an overwhelming sense of accomplishment. After descending the mountain, we did not go home, but chose to stay in a small town at the foot of the mountain for 2 days. Eat delicious food, visit beautiful scenery, have a tea party with sisters, and steal a half day of leisure. I haven't felt so relaxed and at ease in a long time. On the way back, I was still reluctant to leave and had endless aftertaste. I reached a consensus with them both that we should arrange more trips like this in the future. After returning home, I was greeted by Meng Xian's hug as soon as I entered the door. He held me tightly in his arms and buried his head in my neck. Her voice was muffled and coquettish. "Baby, I miss you so much." I chuckled helplessly. "That's too exaggerated. We just haven't seen each other for 3 days." He snorted. "One day without seeing you is like 3 autumns. As he said that, he hugged my princess and ran towards the bedroom. Lying on the bed, Meng Xian's kisses came like a storm. I haven't seen him so eager in a long time. Could it be that this is the so-called separation is better than a new marriage? In half a month, Meng Xian's grandfather will celebrate his 75th birthday. After work that day, he asked me to go shopping for gifts together. We walked around the mall for more than an hour and still haven't decided what to buy. Mainly because Meng Xian didn't have a plan in mind. Before he came to buy gifts, he didn't think about what he wanted to buy in advance. Later, I was really tired from walking, so I suggested, how about buying a massage chair? Meng Xian suddenly paused and stared at me until he made me feel uncomfortable. He finally said, "Are you worried about something?" "No." "Then why are you absent-minded?" Just now, when I entered the mall, I told you that the gift my cousin bought for Grandpa was a massage chair." "Sorry, I didn't hear you clearly just now." This time I was really embarrassed. My perfunctory behavior was discovered by others. "Xiao Hui, is there something wrong at work? I always feel that something is wrong with you." Meng Xian hesitated for a moment and asked politely. I denied it guiltily. "No, everything went smoothly. Last year, Grandma celebrated her birthday, and you were very positive. I just feel like you were different this year." When he said this, I remembered. Last year, Meng Xian's grandma celebrated her birthday, and he said he would take me to the birthday banquet. I was so excited. When choosing gifts, I am more active than him. I searched online for a lot of gifts suitable for the elderly and asked him about his grandma's personality and hobbies. After a few days of research, I finally selected a gift that I was most satisfied with. At the birthday party, when Meng Xian and I presented the gifts together, we saw with our own eyes his grandma's surprise. His grandparents praised us a lot, saying that we were considerate and the gifts were delivered to their hearts. At that time, I seemed to have received great affirmation. Being able to help Meng Xian makes me happier than anything else. 9. Even I realized how little I cared about giving gifts to his grandfather this year. I could only make amends for myself. I'm sorry. Maybe it's because my grandma and I are both women, so I'm particularly concerned about it. Please give me more trouble for Grandpa's gift. Later, when the shopping mall was about to close, Meng Xian decided to buy a multifunctional mattress for his grandfather. He asked me how I was doing. I said it was pretty good. He smiled dryly. A few days before my grandpa's birthday party, I started to feel anxious. What excuse do you have for anxiety? Because I don't want to participate. I feel a lot of pressure when I think about facing a lot of his relatives and friends and those worried elders who keep talking about when they will get married. I don't like liveliness by nature, so I usually don't go to crowded places if I can. In the past, I thought that I would become his wife sooner or later, and it was inevitable to deal with his relatives and friends, so I could only force myself to adapt. But now, since I have no plans to get married, that means I don't have to get involved in his network. Just when I was racking my brains for an excuse, the excuse came to my door. The supervisor said that he needed someone from our department to go on a business trip to the next city over the weekend, but no one answered. Obviously, no one wants to work overtime on weekends. It was just me, with my eyes shining and my hands raised high. "Director, choose me." So, the night before the birthday banquet, I looked at Meng Xian with guilty eyes. "Sorry, I can't accompany you to Grandpa's birthday party tomorrow." "Why?" "The company sent me on a business trip to the next city." "Do you have to go? Can you refuse? Or find someone else? How about this? Ask your colleagues if there is anyone willing to take your place. The price is whatever you want, and I will pay for it." "Don't be ridiculous. My name has been reported to the group and the meeting party, and it cannot be changed temporarily." Meng Xian was visibly unhappy. He blinked and leaned his head on my shoulder. "Why do I feel that you have become so busy recently that you don't even have time to spend time with me?" "It's all my fault. It's all my fault. When I'm not busy anymore, I will definitely stay with you." The perfunctory and coaxing words came out of my mouth, and I couldn't believe it was me. "Okay, keep your word." Meng Xian believed my promise, with a tone of grievance in his voice. The moment I looked up, I clearly saw myself on the TV screen. The guilt and self-blame in my eyes was exactly the same as when Meng Xian missed the appointment to get the certificate. 10. As the spring festival holiday was coming, I received a call from my aunt. "Fui Hui, would you like to come to my aunt's place to play during the Chinese New Year this year?" Auntie's voice was gentle. "Okay, Aunt." I agreed. "Really? Hui Hui, did you agree?" You can hear how excited my aunt is from her voice. "Well, we still have 3 days off. I'll book the flight tickets later." "Oh, okay. Auntie will clean your room now. You don't need to bring extra clothes. Auntie has prepared them for you." "Well, thank you, Aunt." My aunt talked to me a lot about the weather, customs, and interesting attractions in Australia. Listening to her narration sentence by sentence, I felt a warm current slowly pouring into my heart. I can understand my aunt's excitement. In the past few years, my aunt has invited me to go to her place every year during the Chinese New Year, but I have always declined. because I spent the Chinese New Year with Meng Xian and his family. My aunt is far away in Australia, and I haven't had much contact with her since I was a child, and I'm not that close to her. Therefore, I was a little timid in the face of her warm invitation. However, I forgot that my aunt is my only relative in the world. My mother is an orphan and has no relatives there. My father only has one sister, my aunt. However, after my aunt finished college in Australia, she stayed there to work. After getting married and having children, she settled there. Growing up, I saw my aunt only a handful of times. But every time she comes back, she brings me many gifts. In my impression, my aunt actually liked me very much. It's just that we don't meet often enough to maintain a close relationship. After my parents passed away, my only living relative was my aunt. Actually, I miss her. I long for her love. I don't want to be a coward anymore. I want to give my aunt a big hug and tell her face to face that I love her. 11. After returning home, while having dinner together, Meng Xian began to talk about his spring festival plans. We travel together with my uncle's family every spring festival. This year, my little cousin insists on going to Switzerland for skiing. She is the youngest, so we can only give in. After the reunion dinner at home, we'll set off on the first day of the new year. Give me your passport, and my dad will ask his assistant to book air tickets for us. I put down my chopsticks and purse my lips. Xian, I won't go with you. During the Chinese New Year this year, I'm going to Australia to visit my aunt. Why? Meng Xian suddenly asked loudly. Didn't you always stay with our family every year before? But I haven't seen my aunt in several years. She is my only relative, and I miss her very much. Otherwise, I won't go this time. When I have another vacation next time, I will accompany you to see her. I have already promised my aunt, and if you and your family go on a trip together, I won't be missing out. Who said I won't miss you? Without you, what's the point of going? Meng Xian teased my hair and acted coquettishly. You can spend more time with your parents and your relatives. It's rare for a big family to get together. You have to cherish it. Seeing that I was strong-willed, Meng Xian couldn't persuade me to let go of my relatives and accompany him, so he had no choice but to accept it. On the 26th of the 12th lunar month, I boarded a plane to Australia. Meng Xian sent me to the airport. Before we separated, he hugged me tightly. I pushed him several times before letting go. When I left, I turned back 3 times, and I was deeply moved by the performance of reluctant to leave. While waiting for the flight, I texted him and called him a drama queen. He solemnly declared for himself. I didn't act, it was all true feelings. I stayed in Australia for half a month. My aunt's family are very kind to me, and they take me everywhere. I felt the long-lost family affection. Although Meng Xian's family is also very kind to me, how can I put it, the feeling is still different. When I go to Meng Xian's house, his parents will warmly entertain me, prepare sumptuous meals, and set a large table with fruits and snacks. But at my aunt's house, after only 1 meal, she discovered that I didn't eat pepper, and pepper was never included in subsequent meals. What moved me even more was that the sheets and quilt cover my aunt prepared for me had lily patterns on them. This has been my favorite flower since childhood. My aunt has only met me a few times, but she always remembers my preferences. After spending a few days with my aunt, my relationship with her became inseparable, and I became more and more casual in front of her. I can take off my shoes and socks in front of my aunt, sit cross-legged on the sofa, and play checkers with my little cousin. If they lose, they put notes on each other. But in front of Meng Xian's parents, I never dared to show such a casual look. I'm afraid they will think I don't have a tutor, and it would be rude to complain about me behind my back. Therefore, real relatives are still different. 12. When I was in Australia, Meng Xian would make video calls to me every day and send me WeChat messages during the day. He shared with me where he went every day and what projects he played. Of course, the most common chat content is complaints. Complaining that I wasn't by his side made him miss me so much that he couldn't have a good time. I never knew he had such a clingy side. On the day I returned to China, I saw Meng Xian at the airport. I was so surprised that I almost fell down. Aren't you guys coming back in a week? Meng Xian told me before that after leaving Switzerland. They also went to other places in Europe, and the plan was to return in a week. It's boring, and I don't have my wife to accompany me, so I'll come back first. As he said this, he picked me up. Huh? Why do you feel a little fatter? He raised his eyebrows. Because my aunt raised me well. You mean I didn't take good care of you? You said that yourself. On the way back, Meng Xian held the steering wheel with one hand and insisted on holding my hand with the other hand. Promise me you won't be separated from me for such a long time in the future, okay? He said in an aggrieved tone. It's only half a month. Just half a month? I miss you every day. Don't you miss me? You are so heartless. In the next few days, Meng Xian stayed with me every day. Even when my best friend and I went shopping for clothes, he would shamelessly follow us. When work finally started, I breathed a sigh of relief. On my first day at work, the director brought a sunny and handsome guy to me. Zhang Hui, this is Che Yunian. Please take it with you. The handsome guy was quite polite, and his smile was full of vigor. Hello, Sister Zhang Hui. Just call me Xiaoyan. I'll bother you later. The newcomer Che Yunian is really easy to take care of, and he has more eyes than the other people I took care of before. And the people are hardworking. Every morning, he would arrive at the company half an hour early and wipe my desk until it was shiny. He would also leave an iced Americano on my desk. Every few days, the flowers in the vase on the windowsill will be replaced with fresh ones. If Che Yunian only knew these forms and did some tricks, I wouldn't think highly of him. But his work ability is not stretched at all, and he can be regarded as excellent. He graduated from a prestigious university, has a good mind, and is the most capable newcomer I have ever coached. Every task given to him is completed beautifully. There is no master who doesn't like such a smart, diligent, and discerning apprentice. 13. The completion of this new project is at least half of Che Yunian's credit. When I reported the results, I also added his name. The director told me that Jiang Yunian had not yet become a full-time employee and, according to regulations, he could not receive commissions. This made me feel very guilty and felt that I had taken advantage of him. When I was about to get off work, I told Che Yunian that I would treat him to dinner tonight. It was a small comfort to him. Che Yunian cracked his white teeth and showed his signature sunny smile. Thank you, Sister Hui. I was afraid that Che Yunian would think too much, so during dinner, I tried to explain to him as clearly as possible why he couldn't get the commission this time. Unexpectedly, he didn't take it seriously at all and told me carelessly, I know the company's regulations very clearly. I knew it before starting the project. Then you are still working so hard and working overtime every day to help me. I said, I also want to accumulate experience. I must seize such a good learning opportunity. He also comforted me, Sister Hui. Don't feel guilty. I have learned a lot from following you this time. I haven't paid for the tuition yet, so I make the profit. I couldn't help but sigh. Are all young people today so good at behaving? After dinner, Che Yunian took me home. The car stopped at the gate of the community. He got out of the car first and opened the door for me in a very gentlemanly manner. My high heels sprained, and he quickly reached out to help me. Who is your mother? A familiar voice appeared in my ears. I looked up and saw Meng Xian approaching in a menacing manner. He pushed Yunyan away from the car. Are you okay? I took his arm. No, Sister Hui. He smiled at me. This is it. I'm his boyfriend. Stay away from my girlfriend. Meng Xian grabbed me and pulled me away. I struggled away. Meng Xian, why are you crazy? Am I crazy? This kid is trying to pry me into a corner, and you want me to be a ninja turtle. What nonsense are you talking about? He is my colleague, and the newcomer I led. But the way he looks at you is not innocent. He is still a man. Can't I tell? Stop making trouble. Xiaonian is 4 years younger than me. I'm not afraid of being laughed at if I'm so jealous. So, you're just his boyfriend. You're not married, right? Che Yunian suddenly said. 14. What do you mean? Meng Xian looked at him. I will not do such immoral things as destroying other people's families. However, since Sister Hui is not married, I have a chance to compete fairly. Che Yunian said calmly. I turned my head sharply, wanting to cover his mouth. Xiaonian, what are you talking about? I'm not talking nonsense, Sister Hui. I like you, and from today on, I will chase you. Meng Xian was furious and nodded repeatedly. Did you see that? What did I say? I knew this kid had no good intentions. Xiaonian, I will treat you as a joke today. You should go back first. With that said, I forcibly pulled Meng Xian away. Tomorrow, you will resign. Meng Xian, who was silent all the way in the elevator, suddenly said, No way. I refused. I love my job very much, and he knows exactly how much I have put into this job. You want me to watch you get along with that kid day and night every day? Meng Xian's eyes turned red. Are you trying to force me to death? I'll tell the director tomorrow that I won't take him with me anymore and let him work with the second team. This is the only promise I can make. I never thought that Che Yunian would like me, so in order to avoid embarrassment at work in the future, I could only keep him away. I don't like him, and I won't let him affect my work. Listening to what I say, Meng Xian can only compromise. Asking me to resign was just an angry word, and he also knew that it was impossible for me to resign. That night, Meng Xian was like a hungry wolf, extremely entangled with me. Afterwards, he lay on my shoulder and gasped, Let's get married. My hand holding the quilt froze for a long time before slowly letting go. But there are a lot of things going on in the company recently. The director has already said that leave will not be granted in the next month. Oh, let's talk about it later. Meng Xian lay down next to me. I could feel him breathing a sigh of relief in the dark night. The next day, Che Yunian, who learned that he had been transferred, came to me unhappy. Sister Hui, I will never give up chasing you. I don't accept office romance. I smiled politely at him. Our company does not have this rule. I know it's me who doesn't want to mix work and personal matters. In other words, if I leave the company, you will accept me? His bright eyes were full of expectation. I shook my head. No. Why? In my eyes, you are just a younger brother and I don't like you. Che Yunian turned around and left with a dejected expression. 15. My uncle was promoted to head of the Asia-Pacific region of his multinational company, and my aunt's family decided to return to China and settle down. It will take some time to buy a house and decorate it, so I invited my aunt's family to live with me. I moved back to the villa where my parents used to live and hired someone to clean the house. For this reason, Meng Xian's face darkened for several days. On the day I left, he drove me off without saying a word the whole time. When we arrived at the villa, When he saw me getting out of the car to get my luggage, he grabbed my arm. How long are you going to live here? I frowned. What, over here? This is my home. Then when will your aunt's family move out? What are you talking about? My aunt has only me as a relative in the country, so it is natural for us to take care of each other. He blinked his eyes, looking aggrieved. But I don't want to be separated from you for too long. The house at my aunt's house has not been finalized yet, and it will need to be renovated later, which will take at least a few months. Too long. But I can't leave them alone and run over to live with you. Why not? We are boyfriend and girlfriend, and living together is normal. You can let your aunt's family live here alone. Forget it. After all, we are not married. In front of my relatives, there is no reason why I can't live in my own home. Then get married, he announced loudly. How can it be so easy to get married? You forgot. Last year we just got the certificate and we failed 4 times. Meng Xian's Adam's apple rolled up, and he stopped talking. Maybe he didn't expect that the excuse he used before would now be used by me. After my aunt came, I mentioned to her that I had a stable boyfriend, but I hadn't considered getting married yet. Therefore, when Meng Xian came to visit his aunt's family, his aunt did not ask about his marriage as the woman's parent. Meng Xian breathed a sigh of relief. He said, My aunt has lived abroad and is different. She is open-minded and safe. She does not ask about the marriage of the younger generation. I thought she was going to ask us when we planned to get married, but she didn't mention it at all. I nodded. Then don't worry, my aunt will not put pressure on us in this regard. Koya. I noticed that you have changed. What changed? I can't tell you, but I always feel that you are getting further and further away from me. Before, I felt that you belonged to me alone. Now, I feel that I can't catch you anymore. Nonsense. Am I not by your side? Well, it would be great if we got married. Then we could live together openly, and your aunt wouldn't have an excuse to ask you to move out. 16. Although Che Yunian and I no longer work in the same office, he still takes every opportunity to hang out in front of me all day long. His pursuit was high profile and obvious, and everyone in the company knew about it. I'm a little annoyed by this. After knowing that I moved back home and no longer lived with Meng Xian, Che Yunian's actions became even more arrogant. On weekends, he sent flowers directly to my house and even came to ask me to hang out. Faced with my aunt's curiosity, he boldly admitted that he was my suitor. When Meng Xian found out, he was very angry. Get married. Must get married. He gritted his teeth. However, when I got the certificate again, I missed the appointment. Either because of work or because of life. Every time I made an appointment to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau, I had no choice but to make excuses for missing the appointment. When I missed the appointment for the 3rd time, Meng Xian seemed to have come to his senses. Xiaofan, don't you want to marry me? Ah, no, I denied hesitantly. But it was not like this last year. Every time you went to get the certificate, you were so excited. Now, you seem to be no longer interested in getting married. You know, the desire for something has a time limit. After that point, the impulse will subside. You mean you no longer yearn for a marriage? It seems so. Meng Xian's smile was uglier than crying, and his voice trembled. You don't love me anymore? I still love you, but I think the current situation is quite good. There is no need to bind each other with marriage. Meng Xian's eyes turned red. You actually think that marrying me is a constraint? The tone of his questioning made me a little unhappy. Don't rake it all up, okay? Isn't that what you want? What do you mean? Why did we get the certificate 4 times last year? Meng Xian, I trust you, but I'm not stupid. You know everything? His eyes began to dodge. I also heard what you and your cousin said in the hospital. Xiaofan, please listen to my explanation. He hurriedly took my arm. I just got confused and didn't think about it for a moment. I love you. This has never changed. I know, so I didn't question you. You said you didn't want to get married, and I respect your choice. Even in order to accommodate you, I convinced myself to accept a state of only being in love, but not getting married. Now, I have adapted, but you tell me that you want to get married. I'm sorry. He covered his face in pain. 17. The company has opened a branch in the next city and needs to send people there to develop the market. This is a great development opportunity. On the one hand, I want to get exercise, and on the other hand, I want to get rid of Che Yunian's high-profile pursuits. I actively applied to the company for this assignment. After passing, I told Meng Xian the news. He couldn't believe it. You said you were going to a neighboring city for 2 years? What should we do? Just treat it as a long-distance relationship, I said. How could you make such an understatement? He grabbed my clothes, and his eyes turned red. I didn't force you to wait for me. We are not married, and we can break up at any time. Don't break up. He hugged me tightly, so hard that he wanted to rub me into his arms. Zhang Hui, if you dare to break up with me again, I can't guarantee that you can still stay sane. This opportunity is rare, and I don't want to give it up. But in 2 years, no one can guarantee whether I will change my mind in the future. I dare. I will never change my mind. He gritted his teeth. You are ambitious, and I respect you. Isn't it just 2 years? Can't I wait? The day he sent me to the high-speed rail station, he smiled bitterly. I finally understand what it means to shoot yourself in the foot. How to say? If I didn't commit suicide in every possible way last year and find so many tricks to avoid getting the certificate, you would have been my wife long ago. I would have a reason to act like a baby to you. Please stay. Now I can understand your state of mind last year. It's good to only fall in love and not get married. It's not good at all. Meng Xian squeezed my hand. I'm crazy about my status now. It's too late. It's your own fault. Xiao Hui, I will abide by my masculine virtues and keep a distance from other women. You also have to promise me not to fall in love with anyone else, okay? By the end of the sentence, he was already begging. Si Yan, I can only tell you that I still love you now, but I can't predict what will happen in the future, so I can't promise you. You are so cruel. He pinched my cheek. But it doesn't matter. From now on, I will visit you every week to declare my sovereignty and see who dares to get close to you. I waved to him and turned towards the waiting room. At the age of 27, I gave up my stable life and ran to another unfamiliar city to start my own business. I don't know if I will regret today's decision in the future. But at this moment, I know that I will never regret it. Following your own will and your own feelings is the best choice.